19 years ago, back in year 2000, I made a permanent decision to what was, in fact, a temporary problem. Although I was unexpectedly pregnant, I say temporary because the problem was my feelings of fear and shame and guilt, and no doubt they would have subsided with time. My fear of not knowing how to be a mother would have turned into confidence as I learned the ropes, the way you learn on the job with anything. The shame of being pregnant would have, once it was out in the light, that would have gone away. And unfortunately, at the time I couldn't seem to tell the difference between the baby and the feelings, and the baby got caught up in all of that and lost its life as a result. Even when I was in the abortion clinic about to have the procedure, I was lying there. My gut feeling was screaming at me to get off that table, and I instinctively knew that I wasn't meant to be there. But I had nothing else to hold on to, like there wasn't any other options that I knew of. The day of the abortion I was obviously upset and in panic, and I don't know why. And someone said, "Do you want to talk about how you're feeling, or do you want to postpone this, or or are you okay, or something?" It just went ahead. I remember the sound of that horrible vacuum machine, and I didn't actually know what that meant. And then I'd been given some painkillers that day, and that night I took 16 of those pills, smiled to myself as I went to sleep, thinking I wasn't going to wake up again. And unfortunately, or so I thought, unfortunately, I woke up the next day. I had just taken part in, and let's call it what it is, the murder of my own child. And I didn't feel like I could live with that, I just think if only someone had let me know about adoption, or if only someone had shown me an ultrasound of my baby, if only someone had introduced me to a midwife who would have told me about the support that they would give me throughout the pregnancy, if only someone had told me about the financial support available through WINS and working for families, if only someone had offered to be my support person at the medical centre while I told my mum the news, because I know she would have supported me. So after the abortion, I just had a real hatred for children. I used to have thoughts about kicking pregnant mothers in the stomach to kill what they had inside, and I even hated mothers, and I used to think people were only mums because they didn't want to get a real job and things like that. And I said, I'm never having kids, I'm never having kids. I would say that for years. As I had more healing and I let out all my emotion, and as I grieved for my child, I guess, I softened towards children. And when I got married, I said to my husband, I don't know, I'm still not sure if I ever want kids. He said, that's okay, I don't know if I want them either. After 2 or 3 years, there was nothing I wanted more, was to have a family. We named our first baby Faith. She's now 4 years old, and a couple of years later we had twins. I do wonder, it's been 19 years, what my child would have been like, and what it would have been like for his or her other siblings to know them. I wasn't prepared for the grief and the regret and the pain that came, and it wasn't made known either. And I guess it's kind of a just disenfranchised grief, because it's not something that people kind of grieve publicly. I shouldn't have been given that abortion, so if they didn't turn me down, who are they actually turning down to make it hard? I don't know of anyone who's been told they couldn't have one. I know other women who've had them who have been granted one, and I asked for my notes from the patient information line, my medical notes, a few months ago, and the reason on there was mental health, which is a very broad statement, and it said that I had said, I'm only 17 and the boyfriend doesn't want a baby, so really it was just, an abortion of convenience. So I would say it's on demand. Some people would have thought the best option for me at 17 was to have an abortion. It didn't actually fix the problems, it actually created a whole lot of problems for me, internally, mentally and emotionally. I would have got through with it. I would have had support, because there is actually loads of support out there if you are introduced to it. You know when something is a good or bad decision by the fruit it produces often, and I think about how my life kind of snowballed into this big ball of poison from a bad decision. I'm sure that if I had suicidal tendencies from abortion, that I won't be the only one, along with anxiety and feeling depressed and that sort of thing afterwards. And I would say to Jacinda, why is the law or the government giving women that kind of status to decide whether somebody else should live or die. You know, I mean, look at the mess I made from being given that authority. And I would just ask that she puts women in their rightful place, you know, not superior to everyone else of deciding that kind of thing. I mean, if I decide today that I've had enough of my kids and I don't want them anymore, their right to life overrides that. And it's the same in the womb. What you believe depends on why you need to believe it. So I would ask her, why does she need to believe that the baby's not viable from conception? Either way you look at it, it's wrong.